External environment scanning and industry analysis. Today we will be having a presentation on this particular topic. Remember, we are talking about external environment with respect to an organization which we need how to handle these environmental things, which might be in favor of us, presenting an opportunity, or which might be threatening our existence. Um, in terms of adverse activities and situation. So let us proceed with the presentation. So the agenda is basically about organizational environment that can have a positive or a negative influences. Remember, we're talking all in terms of long-term decisions. Identify the aspects of organizational environment that is most strategically important. This is very one thing which needs to be understood. That's why strategically important, because we are looking at a longer time horizon. Yes, of course, an industry analysis has to be done. And remember, I'm not doing a company analysis, it's an industry analysis to understand what are the various factors that will be dominant in years to come. Understand how the industry maturity affects the industry, competitive forces, recognize the international industry based upon the pressures that has been done, the coordinations and the local responsiveness that has been there. So this is what we will be talking around it. We will also explain the constructive strategic maps as far as the positions of the company vis-a-vis with respect to the industry as per se needs to be discussed around. Identify KSF or the key success factors. What are your competencies? How can you build upon your competencies? How do you map it out? Use publicly available information to conduct competitive intelligence. Know how to develop an industry scenario, be able to construct IFAS table that summarizes the external environment as on when on basis. Yes, we are talking about everything external to the company, organizations, or probably what is prevalent in the industry or the economic environment thereby. First and the foremost thing is the environmental scanning. Definitely, yes, this is what we are looking forward to. The monitoring of evaluation, disseminations of the informations, and so on and so forth that needs to be done as on when on basis. This is what we are looking forward to it. Remember what exactly has been notified. So identifying external environment, what is it? We are talking in terms of physical resources, wildlife, climate that are inherent part of it, inherent part of the existence of an earth. Now, this is the flora, the fauna, how it has been impacted upon. Now, every project that has been erected, constructed, or should I say initiated around the globe would be having an environmental impact. And there are legalities that needs to be assessing this environmental impact. If the environmental impact is of great nature and has a disastrous effect on the environment, probably most of the scenario, most of the cases, the law of the land, the government of the land will not give a permission to go ahead with the initiative or the project. So we need to have those clearance things which needs to be understood. Remember, as a natural environment, the natural habitat has to be protected no matter how well the economic returns are all about. It forms an ecological system of the interrelated life. Thereby, this is what we are looking to. Definitely, yes, we are also understanding the societal environment. This is when we talk about the natural flora and fauna, we were excluding about the human beings. And we all understand as a human being, we are social animals. We have to get things done. We work in tandem with one another, in cooperation with one another. We are always planning in terms of long-term growth as far as species is concerned. So we are talking about the human elements. Now, what have been impacted upon it? The economic elements, the technological, the political, legal, socio-cultural impact, which impact the humans in the first place. So, understanding the societal environment is of prime importance thereby. Then comes the task environment. Now, these are the work that needs to be worked around. If it is benefiting the environment, be it the wild environment in the case of flora and fauna, or the human environment in terms of society and communities, how they are getting affected by it. So we need to understand the government, the local communities, the supplier, the competitors, customers, creditor, unions, SIGs are special interest groups, and the trade associations. Remember, these things actually play a vital role in the setup of the organizations thereby. Industry analysis is an in-depth examination of the key factors within the corporation task environment. Yes, this is what we will be looking into it. This is exactly the scenario which needs to be understood time and again by all of us every now and then. As the industry analysis that needs to be taken into account. Remember, in an industry as a company, how what is the important role, or how big or how small or how insignificant are we, or should I say how significant are we? So you need to map your competencies vis-a-vis the industries and what are the demands that is being followed around there. This is what needs to be understood. Steep analysis. I would love to go around with the steep analysis. It's basically monitoring the trends in both social and the natural environment as gone about it. Social will be sociological, technological, economical, ecological, and political legal scenario. STEEP. Again, I repeat, steep analysis is all about sociological, technological, economical, ecological, and political legal forces that actually impact with your decisions. Remember, I have tried to given up with the social environment. What is societal environment? The steep process as such is sociocultural. These are things that goes around it. Let's say sociocultural. I'll just read one by one for you to understand the things very clearly. Under sociocultural is your lifestyle changes, career expectation, consumer activism, rate of family. Rate of family is the way the family is growing. Is it one child per family? Is it two child per family? It is n number of child per family, or probably people are not uh, actually multiplying themselves or not bringing any child into the world altogether, or there is the concept of family has been disrupted altogether. Whatever the cases are, growth rate of the population, age distribution of the population, regional shift in the population, life expectancy, birth rate, pension plans, health care, level of education, living wages, unionizations. This is what we will be talking about under socio-cultural environment. Let us proceed to the technological environment. This is the total government spending on research and development. Total industry spending for research and development. So one is governmental and the other one is non-governmental. Focus on the technological effort. Patent protection. Now, what is patent protection? Is the intellectual property rights. How stringent are the laws? New products, new development in technologies, transfer from lab to marketplace, productivity improvement through automations, internet availability, telecommunication, infrastructure, computer hacking activities, and so on. Economic wise is GDP trends. Now, GDP is gross domestic product. It is overall product of the economy of a particular country that goes around it. So we have these are things that would be coming under economical environments is the GDP trends, interest rate, money supply, inflation rates, unemployment levels, wage, price control, devaluation, revaluation, energy alternatives, energy availability and cost, disposable, discretionary income, currency market, global financial system, and so on and so forth. What are we talking around it? It is all related to money. If you look into it, it is all related to the currency. It is all related to the purchasing power. It is everything to do with the financial market, is the economical environment. Let us understand the ecological environment. Environmental protection laws, global warming impacts, non-governmental organizations, pollution impact, reuse, triple bottom lining, and recycling as the case might be. This is what we are looking at. So political legal environment is antitrust regulations, environmental protection laws, global warming legislation, immigration laws, tax laws, special incentives, foreign trades, regulations, attitude towards foreign companies, laws in hiring, promotions, stability of government, outsource. We are looking at everything, foreign sweatshops and things like that. So basically the variables that have been given into your steep analysis is what I've already mentioned around here. Now let us understand the current socio-cultural trends: increasing environment awareness, growing health consciousness, expanding senior markets, impacts of millennials. This is what we will be talking around every now and then. So increasing environmental awareness is what we will be talking around, growing health consciousness, People are getting more and more healthy, or at least pretending to be one, or probably are looking at the sales of a lot of health gadgets, be it your smartwatches, your mobile phone, the apps that has been coming across it. So these are the social cultural trends that has been actually be picking up, be it with the seniors market or the millennials that we are talking around it. Current social cultural trends are declining mass market. Now, this is something which needs to be understood. Declining, so people are not actually looking for a cheaper product. People are nowadays buying for value for money products. So, changing pace, location of life, changing household composition, increasing diversity of workforce and markets thereby. This is what we will be looking in numbers of times anywhere and everywhere. Portable information devices are electronic networking, alternative energy sources, precision farming, virtual personal assistant, genetically altered organisms, smart mobile robots that we are talking. These are my technological breakthrough. Definitely, yes. We have been talking about Autobots, we have been talking about AIs, artificial intelligence, we are talking about machine learning and so on. So category risks are many. Definitely, there is something called a regulatory mix. No wonder people might say the one of the currencies that has been circulated and is getting rave reviews is cryptocurrency. But then not all governments are accepting as a formal notes of tender. Probably no. Probably there's a regulatory risk. There is a supply chain risk. Yes, product risk, technological risk, litigation risk, reputational risk, and physical risk. This is what we are looking at it. Exactly. No, scanning of the environment is what we are looking out today. Now we will be speaking about the social analysis of the societal environment as the case might be. It is your interest groups, your community analysis, the market analysis, the competitor analysis, the supply analysis, and the government analysis. Now, what are they telling me? They are telling me about the opportunities, about the success factors, about the threats, about the negative or vindicating factors that might be applicable in the external environment, and that is what we should be keeping in mind every now and then. This is what scanning of the external environment will be talking around it. Yes, so this steep analysis will tell me about the interest group analysis, the community analysis, the market analysis, the competitor analysis, the supply analysis, and the government analysis. Thereby, we are talking around every now and then with respect to these positions, as the in this is Michael E. Porter's theory of competitions that comes around five forces theory of competition goes around it. Number one is a potential entrant, which has a threat of a new entrant. Probably your mobile phone, when Apple entered into it, it was a threat because these were the phones without any key buttons, right? Then there was something called buyers. It's in bargaining power of the buyers. If there is only one buyer for your product, you don't hold up a swear about it, right? If the buyer will tell you or dictate you the price. Similarly with the supplier, bargaining power of the supplier. If there is only one supplier, you just cannot do anything about the supplier. The supplier will dictate the terms and condition, the notes for which goes around it. And a glorifying example is the diamond mining. Yeah, the company which mines the diamonds, they have the only resources to mine the diamond, right? They will dictate what the price of the diamonds would be. Then there is something called threat of substitute products. Yes, ease of operations. Probably yes. This is where innovation comes around it. Threat of substitute product or the new product that goes around, and other stakeholders is the power that comes around it, and this will all take into account for the industry rivalries or industry health concerns around here. So threat of new entrants to an industry brings new capacity, a desire to gain the market share and substantial resources. Now, new capacity and desire means a lot of money might be pumped in or a lot of money might be burned around in the terms of promotions. So they might be eating up into your margin as such. Entry barriers is an obstruction that makes it difficult for the company to enter. Definitely, yes, if we are talking about huge entry barriers, let's say we keep on building a 500 bedded super specialty hospitals. I've been telling it to you. That means a huge assets building cost, and it to recover that cost, it might take anything from 7 to 15 years. 7 years to 15 years to just to recover the cost. Remember, this 500 bedded super specialty, almost a five-star hospitality restaurant hospitals will actually cost you a huge amount of money to just run that thing, man that position. So yes, the barriers of entries are economies of scales. Look at the investment that we are talking about it, product differentiation, capital requirement, switching cost, access to the distribution channel, cost disadvantages just because of the size, just because of the size it goes around it, and the government policies. Now, let us understand the cost disadvantage due to size. Let's say I want to, or you want to, open up a new business, or you want to go into the airline business. A aircraft itself costs some $1 million, right? An aircraft, and if you want to set up a company, you cannot set up a company with one aircraft. At least 10 aircraft, 15 aircraft. 50 if is better. If it 10 aircrafts, that means a few $1 billion, and who knows whether the tickets will be able to purchase, you'll be able to sell it out. It is a cutthroat industry. There are pricing, there are huge investment. And this is what we are talking about it. Compare it to it. Let's say we want to set up a retail store altogether. It doesn't even has a fragment of the cost of setting up a, or forget setting up an airline industry or airline company. A purchase of a aircraft, it's a fragment of a cost. So just because of the size, this is the barriers to the entry that goes around it. And I am sure capital requirements, switching costs are everybody is known to it. So rivalry among the existing firms is most industries corporation are mutually dependent. A competitive move by one firm can be expected to have a noticeable effect on its competitors and thus may cause retaliations as such. This is what exactly has been meant every now and then by each one of us that goes around it. So, rivalry among the firms will be number of competitors that we comes around it, rate of growth of industries. If the rate of growth is very high, we can accommodate. But if the rate of growth is very slow, the rivalry will be actually bleeding the companies altogether. So, product and service characteristic is one of the things that needs to be taken care of. Amount of fixed costs, the capacity, the height of the exit barrier. The height of the exit barrier is the amount of capital intensive the business is all about it. As I've said it to you about it, as a aircraft industries or aircraft company that you want to go around it, airline companies, and the diversity of the firms that has been there. So this is what we are looking into it. So threat of substitute products is the whatever has been given to you. Now we can obviously let's say for a mineral water or for a potable water bottle, we can substitute with a cola drink, right? Or probably with a juice, but which is cheaper? Now, you just have to give a consciousness around it. Cola might not be very cheaper, juice might not be very cheaper. Cola, on the other hand, is detrimental to the health over a long period of time, whereas water doesn't have any such qualities as such. It will not only cheaper, but is also very friendly to your health. So it's the threat of the substitute product that needs to be identified. The possible substitute means search for products that can perform more or less the same functions. Definitely yes, though they might have a different appearances. Bargaining power of the buyers is what we are looking into it. The ability of the buyers to force a price down. If we have few buyers, probably few buyers, there are many industries that are which doesn't have much of a taker. Right. For example, I am trying to build up rockets and spaceships. So, how many companies are going to build up the rockets or satellite for that matter? You have to be very clear, very specific regarding those things, right? So, price fair, buyers can force down the price, bargain for a higher quality, play competitors against each other, as in what the other competitor is giving it to you. So, large purchases, backward integrations, alternative suppliers, low cost to chain suppliers, product representation, a high percentage of the cost buyers earn low product profit is very, very unimportant to the buyer. This is what we are looking forward to it. Remember, with this, we can extend anything and everything. Right. So this is what been stated everything till this point of time. So bargaining powers of the buyers. Similar is the case for the bargaining power of the supplier. And remember, when I was telling you the pictograph, or I had concurrently explained the bargaining powers both of suppliers and of that buyers at the same go. Why? Because in this case, the supplier will only give you. They are the only sources of supply, and I had quoted the diamond mine as an example. The diamond mine owners will only supply you the diamonds. Nobody else, nowhere else can you purchase those diamond from. You can polish it, you can rebrand it, but the diamond miners will alternatively determine the price. So buyer affect an industry through the ability to force down prices, bargain for a higher quality, more services, play competitors against each other, as the case might be. This is what we are talking about the power of the suppliers. Remember, the industry is dominated by few companies, definitely yes. Unique product, unique services, definitely yes. Substitute are not easily available. In fact, most of the time it is not readily available. Ability to forward integrate and unimportant. Now, the mining company can easily go into the diamond branding industry, right? As a setup of branding, so they have the ability to go forward also. So they have an alternative to sell it to you or go on their own on a solo. In that case, what will you do? Unimportant of the product or the service to the industry, as the case might be. Let us understand the relative power of the stakeholders, be it the government, be it the local communities, the creditors who are funding it, the trade association who's manning it, the special interest groups who are looking forward to the attainment of the goal, the unions, the shareholders. Everybody has their own relative power of the stakeholder. The government, the local communities, the creditors, the trade association, special interest groups, and so on and so forth. This is what we are looking forward to it, right? We need to understand every now and then as to what has been done and how it has been carried forward. So this is the relative power of the things that comes around it. We need to go again, probably, and definitely try to do it once more again. This is what will definitely say, tell me about the industry evolutions as the price might be containing. So there might be a fragmented industries, no firm has a large market share, and each firm only serves a small piece of total market in the competition with the other market. The consolidated firms are dominated by a few large firms, each struggling to differentiate their products from its competition as on when on basis as the case might be. This is what we are looking forward to. So yes, the industry can be fragmented, the industry can be working as in unison, as in consolidation, wherein probably few dominant players are actually telling where to go and how to those industry. Then probably for international industries, what happened is the multiple domestic industry that comes around it, specific to each country or each group of countries. The global industries operate worldwide, with the multinational companies making only a small adjustment for the country specific circumstances. This is exactly what we are looking forward to. Regional industries, multinational companies primarily coordinate their activities within the regions per se, as in what is to be done and how it is to be done precisely, and things like that. So we are looking at multi-domestic industry, specific industry, global industry, regional industry. With the passage of time, within the region, within the industry, within the specific audiences, if categorization can be done across it. Let us give you a continuum of international industries as such. You look into it on this way is a multi-domestic facility. It's a multi-domestic. It may be of industry which might be tailoring the product to the specific requirement of the consumer of a particular country. Let's say a retailers, insurance, banking, and so on and so forth. Let's say in a third world country of a retailer industry, things would be available in a smaller quantities, probably in sachet. But this might not be applicable to an advanced developed economies where things retail products, fast consuming products would be available in a large volume, probably at a discounted price. Probably, I am just guessing around it. So, why certain economies will require and looking at accessing the product at a smaller volume, while certain economies are looking to access those products at a higher volume. Similarly, for global industries, in which they more or less sell the same product with minor altercation. Let's say automobile tires, television set, and things like that. Giving an example of automobile, you look at cars which might be left-hand driven at certain countries and right-hand driven in certain countries. That's the minor alteration, but more or less every features of the car are same. Remember, this is what we are looking into it. So strategic interest groups is what a set of firms probably pursuing particular strategies within a similar resources. We'll talk about the strategic types. Be defenders focus on improving the efficiency. Prospectors are focusing on product innovations and market opportunities. Thereby, the analyzers is focused on at least two product markets areas, reactors, lack of consistency, strategy, structures, culture, relationship that comes into play with the passage of time. That is what is very important. So market stability is threatened by short products life cycles, definitely yes, and design life cycles for new technologies frequently, absolutely, entry by expected outcomers, repositioning it by the incumbent and tactical definitions thereby. This is what connectivity is all about it. Now, talking about key success factors to create an industry matrix. Now, what are they? I'm talking about EFAS in this case, right? External factor analysis matrix that we are talking about. So variables that significantly, remember, significantly impact the overall competitive position of the company. And that is what we are looking into it. In a banking industry, probably the interest rate that has been affected or offered to the end customer. That might be one of those factors which might be actually attracting the end customers all the way. So that is what your key success factors is all. So, industry matrix summarizes the key sector success factor. For example, remember we have been talking about the key. I said the interest is for a banking industry, and I'm just giving you an inkling. So, we have those weightage of those criterias. Remember, company weightage should not be more than one. So, you have to give a weightage from 0 to 1. 0 being the least, 1 being the maximum. So, some companies or some factors would be 0.5, which is the majority of the scenario, and things like that. Then probably we will multiply it with the ratings as far as the consumers have been doing, and company B, the ratings out there. So company A, company B, and we can have a final score why a particular company is doing wonderfully well and the rest are not doing so. So competitive intelligence is a formal program of gathering information of companies' competitors, also called the business intelligence. Sources of competitive intelligence is information brokers, internet, industry espionage, investigatory services, things like that, as with the passage of time that we have been talking around here. We will be talking about the useful forecasting techniques. Yes, this is pertinent. This is important. We need to understand how to forecast in case if we are able to forecast, and if this technique or this competency is very much unique and we are always right every time, we will ensure there is success for the business altogether. Extrapolation, brainstorming, expert opinion, Delphi technique, statistical modeling, prediction market, cross impact analysis is what we are looking forward to. Remember again, extrapolation, brainstorming, expert opinion, Delphi technique, statistical modeling, prediction market, cross impact analysis. That is the rule of the game. If this is what we go about it in extrapolation, as in with the trend, we just extrapolate it, and in brainstorming we sit together and probably look for viable option. Expert opinion, we always can refer it to an expert, probably get his or her feedback. Prediction market, we can see about the advanced economies, how the product market has been working around it. Statistical modeling is something which can be done on a lab basis, probably what can be done as an opportunities, as an options of what might eventually happen. Delphi technique is similarly, we can get it quad with an expert opinion. When we have a multiple expert opinion, and probably people, different expert will come with different opinions altogether, we can revert back with them in case of scenarios that collating with or colliding with one another, and look at a cross impact analysis as the case might be. This is what we go call as external factor analysis summary sheet. I have already stated about it. Remember, I've been giving it to you. This should add up. Weightage should add up not beyond 1. It cannot go within 1. The ratings can be anything, and this is individual ratings from the customer that comes around. If you multiply the ratings and then you get a score of 3.1, this is for company A, then can we have a company B, and so on and so forth. And this is just a elaboration for you. Remember, this is given by the company as such, where the competitive edge is concerned, competition from the company, and are not known to the end customer. These are hidden by the end customer, whereas the end customers are given the opportunities and been asked to mark upon them, rate upon them, and you will see they might be given on a 5-point scale out here. Look, this has been given as a major quality, a 5-point scale for a Likert scale, and they might score 5. Somebody can say 3.5, somebody can mark 2.5. You marry them, make an average about them, mark it, multiply with these two, you get it score and total it up. You will get your overall score as external factor analysis. Let's say for the opportunities in economic integration to an European community, demographic favor, quality appliances, economic development of Asia, opening Eastern European trends in superstores, as the case might be. Threats, on the other hand, might be increasing government regulations, strong US companies, Whirlpool and Electrolux going strong globally, new product development, Japanese appliances company, and so on. So with this I come to an end. I suppose everything would have been very clear with an external factor analysis summary sheets, how to go about it, build upon it, and probably prune your business to the requirement of the time. Thank you for watching this video.